Hi, welcome to Unapologetically Reborn. My name is Alicia Lynch.
I'm Cody. What's up?
So last week we talked about triggers and projection. My hope is that there was some clarity in that conversation, because this week we're gonna talk about why women hurt women. That's the topic of today's episode. And triggers and projection is a big factor in this equation. This was a topic that I've been curious about my entire life. And as a woman, I still don't fully comprehend all of the dynamics behind the subject. While I started conducting a little research for this topic, two things came up for me. The first one was, since I'm an author, hey, this is a good topic to write a book on. There's a lot of things that go into this. If you're not a reader, I respect that, but if you are, I will keep you updated on that book. I'm about a week away from finishing my book about growing up around addiction. And then once I'm done with that, I'm going to do an affirmation book and a journal for that. And then I will start working on this, and I will keep you updated on the status of that book should you be interested. All right, so the other thing that came up was, instead of having just like one single episode, I know I had said we're going to talk about why women compete with other women. Well, I chose to, that's coming. It will happen. We'll have an episode on that. But I chose to start off with kind of slowly what we're going to get into, because instead of having just like one show, I feel like we should have like a little mini series, because this really is a multifaceted subject.
And for guys who listen to this, especially ones who are married, you're going to learn why, if you get complained at, this is why, scientifically and genetically.
What is with the married thing?
Hey, never know. I'm single, so I wouldn't know.
Wow. Well, this can apply to men too. I mean, there's things in your circle, this is human behavior. There's things in your circle that you could probably relate to as well.
Yeah.
So don't drop us just yet. I mean, we're not going to talk about women for like 9 months or anything, but we will have a couple episodes about different things, and you probably can relate to some of this as well.
Yeah.
So I feel like this is a huge issue within society, and I think that we need to do our best to, introduce it with as much clarity as we possibly can. Let's see, what was I going to tell you? I kind of tried to write myself some notes so I wouldn't forget. Where was I? All right, so let me ask you a question. Ladies, you ever walked into a room and you felt judged? No words were exchanged, but you felt judged by another woman? Women, other ladies, have you ever judged another woman? No words exchanged. You just had a thought, a feeling, something felt off for you. Pretty sure the answer to that is yeah. You ever felt triggered? Or were you mean to another woman, like didn't know why, kind of hard on her? Not sure why you behaved in that manner? Yeah. Question is why? Do you know? Many of us, I think, don't even know. So this is obviously a difficult topic to discuss. It requires a lot of truth and vulnerability. Some people might feel uncomfortable, but we're not here to talk shit. Well, maybe a little. but sorry, my dog is under the table. Let's unite. Let's look at, ways that we can get better at this, what this is about. If you have a story or a question about this series, we would invite you to shoot us an email. You can email us at listen@unapologeticallyreborn.com. I'll put it on the screen. And we invite you to, anything that you want to discuss, please shoot us an email. We would really appreciate it. Why do women hurt other women? Is it because they're catty, or are they conditioned to behave this way? Or is this something that goes much deeper? Let us know your opinion in the comments. My thoughts, I feel like this goes much deeper. For an example, society teaches women beauty equals value. Attention equals currency. And throughout history, many women have had to have a scarcity mindset to get to the top of the corporate ladder because there's only so many seats. And as we know, they're usually dominated by men. So it's a thing. Therefore, sometimes comparison and trying to figure out where we stand is an issue. This could also be attributed to insecurity, feeling like we're not good enough. When we're growing up, we learn to compare each other. Let's say that, here's a scenario. Let's say that you're on Facebook. You begin scrolling. You come across another woman's post. She's happy. She seems put together. Now you find yourself looking at some of her other posts, maybe. And you start to feel a little annoyed. Why is that? You don't wish anything on her. You don't want anything bad to happen to her. But something inside of you starts to feel a little off. This isn't really about her post. It's how her post made you feel. Maybe your thought, I wish I looked like that. Why am I not there yet? Why haven't I achieved that? This person makes everything look so easy. Before you know it, you may find yourself comparing your life to someone else's. This one social media post can trigger your current life situation. Or honestly, it can bring you back to your last, your post, your past. Any of those things. Things that you put on social media. This may sound melodramatic, but for some people who had like siblings or multiple siblings that found themselves competing for attention in their home in a busy household, that could have started with this. Let's say my sister's the pretty one. My brother's the smart one. My other sister excels in athletics. I consider myself average for aesthetics. I had to study really hard in school to pull good grades, and I don't have the greatest athletic ability. So where does that leave me? If I'm not the prettiest, the most intelligent, or the most athletic, what's my gift? Where do I belong in the equation? Or maybe there's the little voice in the back of your head that brings you back to comparison with your parent. Why can't you just be more like Johnny? He memorized his spelling words without hardly even looking at the list. Perhaps it's a common pop culture of when we were little. Now, entertain me for a minute. I'm not going to speak any names, but everybody knows what I'm talking about. To date, I feel like they've gotten better as storytelling, but I don't want to get sued, so. When I was a kid, this was huge, and I think it still exists, but I don't think it's as prevalent as it was when I was younger. But think about this. Let's look at the narrative here. What's existed for as long as we can remember? Fairy tales. What happens in the fairy tale? There's a princess. There's a prince. Generally a witch. Think about this for a minute.
The ugly stepsisters.
Oh yeah, the ugly stepsisters. I forgot about them. We're not going to go too in depth in this, but we're going to discuss this in our series.
A certain guy kind of screwed that one up. He has an amusement park.
Oh yeah. We're not gonna mention any names.
That man kind of
I'm not trying to get sued here.
His amusement park kind of screwed it up for women, kind of.
So think about this for a minute. The princess is always beautiful, right? The witch is always old and ugly. And the beautiful princess or the prettiest girl generally fits the slipper and marries the prince, right? Well, I might be wrong, but I don't remember watching a single movie where the mediocre girl wins the prince or whatever is deemed to be the prize in the movie. The only one that comes to mind, to be honest with you, is the Good Witch in The Wizard of Oz. I don't want to get too carried away with this because we're going to do a deeper dive onto this topic. But think about that. What gets ingrained in your brain? The homely girl doesn't get picked to go to the prom. Beauty wins the prize. Not being gorgeous could be slightly compared to evil. The evil witch is usually old and ugly. Now, decades of these messages might just program this whole entire competition and insecurity. Yeah?
Yeah.
What were you going to say?
Nothing.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't going to say anything.
I thought you were going to say something. Okay. Now some people might, they might air their dirty laundry on Facebook, but for the most part, people post what they're proud of, and we judge them. But we have no idea what their stories entail or what it took for them to get there. Their achievement or their accomplishment, whatever it is that they might be sharing. I think we should talk about like famous people and compare that with my message. Do you have any that come to mind?
I don't want to get sued.
No, I think we're okay here. All right, well, I'm going to go out on a limb.
I can think of 3.
Okay. Name your 3.
They all have lawyers. Their names start with a K, ends with... Their last name starts with a K, too. All 3 of them.
What about them?
They're good looking.
Yeah, they're gorgeous.
And they complain a lot.
I think they're great. I love them. I watch their show faithfully. I'm not going to lie.
And people know who I'm talking about.
Yep, the mom's beautiful, too.
Mm.
Where do you think they got it from?
I gave her a 7, but
no,
she's up there in age.
She's gorgeous. So. Chris, you're beautiful. All right, let's look at a famous person. For an example, I'm going to use Jessica Simpson. Okay? Do you remember Jessica Simpson and the Dukes of Hazzard?
Very much so.
Do you? What comes to mind when you think of the Dukes of Hazzard?
The acting.
You lie. The acting. Okay, well, I'm not homophobic, but I'm not gay. But what comes to mind for me with the Dukes of Hazzard is I'd kill for an ass like that. She looked great. I mean, let's be honest. She looked really, really pretty.
Yeah,
So,
that's why I said the acting.
Yeah, the acting.
It was great. Johnny Knoxville did great.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, how much jealousy do you think that she endured?
She did have a sister, so kind of.
No, but I mean, how many women do you think hated on her because of her looks in that movie?
Probably a lot.
Quite a few, probably,
most.
right? Yeah, I think probably quite a few. I feel like it's safe to say she had a lot of judgment, and, while it's human nature to judge, does that make it right? Do we know what she did behind the scenes? Why she looked the way that she did? I do, because I looked it up. So for 3 months, not that she was large to begin with, and she was young, that helps. Some of us going through menopause, yeah, that's fun, good times. So for 3 months, she only ate chicken, fish, and fresh vegetables. No bread, no desserts, no Cokes. Ooh, I couldn't do it. And she was in the gym 6 days a week. Not just cardio, but weights. So if the girl committed her time, her energy, and she sacrificed her sweet tooth and her time and, dedicated it to working out, don't you think she got what she deserved? She worked for it, right? So instead of judging her for it, in my opinion, instead of hating on her and how her body looked, we could look at it like she was rewarded for her efforts. This is what she did. She worked for it. She deserved it, right? If you wanted it, and you decided to do those things, you could have it too. So why hate on her? She got what she deserved. That's what she worked for. Or let's look at musicians. How many people look at musicians and become jealous?
Well, they don't look at them for their looks, though. They look at afterwards how much they're getting paid.
Yeah, how much money they make is generally the core subject, right? Why we all usually envy, like, oh, hey, I'm watching Cribs or some dumb thing like this. We live in a $10 million house. However, do you know what's behind that scene? Think about that for a minute.
Their bank account?
No. Let's look at, like, how many rock musicians, Motley Crue, for an example, love you. They slept in their car. Poison. They lived in dumpy apartments. I mean, they slept in cars. They couldn't afford to eat.
Hotels.
What's that one girl I'm thinking of? Oh my God, I can't think of her name and I love her. $1 Million Baby. Come on, help me.
Oh God, I can't think of her name.
I love her. She's excellent. I can't think of her name. I don't know why I just blanked.
Is it Adele?
No, come
No
on.
offense to her.
I love Adele. $1 Million Baby. What's her name?
I can't think of her damn name.
Oh my God, I can't either. And watch, we'll be done with this, and then at midnight I'm gonna pop up and be like, hey, it's so and so.
Yep.
Well, anyways, she slept in her Swank, Hillary Swank. She slept in her car to get stardom. But anyways, my point is, okay, look at what they sacrificed. So they make millions of dollars, but did you think about what it took to get there? Like, they missed school activities, birthdays, holidays, sports events, etc. Because a wrestler, a musician, I mean, they toured, 300 out of 365 days?
Yeah.
And half of them aren't even home to enjoy what they've got. Not to mention the loneliness that these people endure. I mean, we all look at celebrities like, oh, I wish I could be like that, or it's so glamorous, but, I don't mean to be off topic and anything like that, but I think if we think about this for a minute, it makes a lot of sense, and it goes with what we're talking about behind the scenes and why women can be mean to other women, or why you can look at a social media post and hate on somebody that A, you don't even know, or B, you don't know what sacrifices they made to show off what they've got. Or, to be honest, some of them post some bullshit. Let's be real. You know what I mean? Hey, look at me. I live this perfect life, and really I'm in a house of cards. But anyways, let's look at Aaron Carter. That's the one that I think about the most. That's absolutely heartbreaking. So when I was talking about celebrities, think about this. Loneliness. These are the most lonely people in the entire world. You know why? What comes to mind with that?
Money.
Okay. Well, let's look at Aaron Carter. So this kid was taught as a child that his worth came from what people thought of him and being approved. Everything was with approval, right? We never loved him for who he was. We loved him for what he did. He wasn't loved for him. That's absolutely heartbreaking. This kid wanted to be loved just like anybody else. But how can you be loved when the majority of the people in your life want something from you? They want your money, an association from you due to your celebrity status. Or maybe they just wanted to write a tell-all book or sell your photo to paparazzi. That's sad. That's a hard life. You can't go to a movie. You gotta have, it's shut down, or bodyguards, or this or that, or somebody's trying to shoot you, or whatever because they're jealous. Or my point is this. Again, we don't know what's behind the scenes because we didn't live it.
Yeah.
This is your social media right here. We need to remember this. So insecurity, again, someone might be a woman, I hate to say women, but all right, might be seeking validation. And secretly, they live underneath, deep insecurity. Maybe it's someone that sacrificed things in their personal life to acquire what they did. Sometimes they're not as glamorous as they seem. So in the end, the question is, do you really want that? Are you willing to make those small sacrifices? If the answer is no, then it's not fair to judge someone for what they achieved. But above that, it's no more fair than it is for someone's, to be pissed off at someone's confidence because the truth you tried to hide the truth. And so, I guess what I'm trying to say is it's not fair to judge someone for what they've achieved no more than it is for someone's confidence, because the truth is you can't hate in someone else what you've made yourself hide. A lot of times we're not reacting to the actual person. We're reacting to what they're able to do and what they're able to, what they have. Confidence, for an example. Being ourselves. I'm hoping that none of this sounds harsh and judgmental. And I'm also hoping that you'll join us on this journey to understand ourselves better. Join us next week as we start the deep dive into why we have these struggles. Try and remember, if you feel like knocking off another woman's crown, it may not be about the crown itself. It might just be what it represents. That's all I have on that. So, I don't want to say that I've never in my lifetime, judged a woman. But the truth is, I can't honestly remember this ever being a problem for me. I've been judged.
I've never judged a woman, sorry.
No, I mean, I don't mean in the context of what you're thinking as far as oh, hey, check her out or anything like this. I'm talking about I don't feel like I've ever experienced where I hated on somebody because what they looked like or where they worked, or I'm not saying I've never been jealous or anything, but I can't think of any specific, and to be honest with you, again, not to lecture, but this is where I feel I got really lucky. So when I was a kid, my mother, and I deeply thank her for this, but my mother always taught me, there's always going to be somebody smarter, prettier, stronger, and there's always going to be somebody faster, and there's always going to be somebody that can probably do something better than you. So basically, the faster and the quicker that you absorb that, you accept that, the better off you'll be. And that's what I was taught as a kid. Now I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, there's some aesthetics were huge in my family. My stepdad was a bodybuilder, my mother was a bodybuilder, and so looks was a huge thing in my family. But at the very same time, I was always taught there's always somebody that's going to be on top. There's always, like I said, somebody prettier, faster, smarter, whatever. And being that was ingrained in my head at such a young age, I feel like that really helped me to, because I don't feel like I've ever, oh, hey, I can't work next to Jessica because she's cute or whatever. That's never bothered me. And I've had friends that were pretty, and I never felt threatened by that. And I'm extremely thankful for that lesson. So I taught my daughter the same thing, and I would encourage you to teach your children that as well, because it really worked for me. I have been judged in situations though. I have been talked down to, like I was, stupid, and before even opening my mouth.
You get judged to this day.
I do. I do get judged in several senses. To be honest with you, it's kind of hard to discuss what things I'm judged based upon, because there's so much of it that's occurred in my lifetime that it's going to look like it's me, when really it's because I'm around, or was born into a lot of dysfunctional bullshit, and that's where that came from. So that's kind of maybe a different topic, you know what I mean? But I don't know, I had this friend, she had a little sister, and I've got to say she was one of the most annoying people and one of the ugliest people I've ever met. Not physically, but her attitude just made her ugly. For an example, So when we were kids, she would say she wanted to be a model.
Is this who I think it is?
I'm not
I
trying
know
to...
exactly who it is.
Okay, well, here the truth of the matter is she was all but 4 feet tall, so good luck with that. But I remember one time she told me, like, my dream is I want to be on a bulletin board. And I was like, a bulletin board? Okay, would you like me to go get some tacks and put your picture on a bulletin board? And I looked at her and I was like, you mean a billboard? Yeah. Okay. But anyways, well, the most annoying scenario with this girl was, like, we went to a party, and we were young. We went to a party, and there was a couple hot chicks there or whatever, and she wanted us to leave. Like, we gotta go, we gotta leave, because these girls walk in and bitches, they're cute, we gotta hate on them, we gotta leave because she's prettier than me. Like, who gives a fuck? We're here to have a good time. You know what I mean? But stuff like that, people like that are, yeah, that's huge in our society. I've known a lot of people like that.
Must be a woman thing.
And then, like, we're also going to get into, like, when we were kids, things that happened to us when we were kids. Because I know this stems from a very, very early age. Like, I remember my sister went through it. Like, somebody came over. I think I mentioned this in a podcast from the past where, like, they were going to beat her up and whatever else. And my mom freaked out on them. And I know, to be honest, it's kind of embarrassing. But when I was a kid, I got jumped a couple of times by a bunch of girls, and just no reason. Didn't really know them, didn't really know much about them, didn't really associate with them. They just hate on you. They just hate on you for whatever they feel you have or don't have, or what they want, or some dumb shit. But I feel like this has always been an issue for many of us, and quite frankly, it really needs to stop. Like, I feel like we need to do a better job with our kids, because this is really petty bullshit. You know what I mean? Really, really petty bullshit. I don't know. I mean, we'll get into beauty, and we're gonna get into the whole princess, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like the princess era, or the princess generation of what we were taught when we were little. And yeah, go ahead. I don't
want to say it because I'll get sued by a certain company. No, when you said beauty, I was gonna say the other word.
Oh, I got it.
I didn't want to say it because some women can kind of get beastie, if you know what I mean.
I got it.
I don't want to get sued by that certain company.
I'm not trying to get sued by anybody either.
When you said beauty, I would say something else that starts with a B, but...
The princess culture.
Yeah, and this would probably be the ugly stepsisters kind of a beastie kind of culture.
Yeah, I got it.
And yeah, I don't want to get... company...
Let's stop now.
We'll get mad.
Okay, we're good. I think they got it.
I hope so.
But beauty is obviously, that's obviously a huge thing. And think about, like I said, we'll have a topic on this too. Think about what we're taught when we're small, and why that's such a big thing. And I mean, it is what it is, I guess, as a woman. I mean, let's be honest. You're supposed to have 10 kids and be hot doing it. You're supposed to go to work all day, work your ass off, clean your house, take care of your kids, take care of your husband, whatever your responsibilities might entail, and you're always supposed to be hot. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous.
Damn, 10 kids, too many.
Well, I was blowing that out of proportion a little bit, but like, I don't know. When I was a kid, obviously, okay, Barbie's a big thing, obviously. Still is. Never gonna go away. Always has been huge, right? I used to play with Barbies, I'm not gonna lie. But for me, we've come a long way. I'm really excited because when I see my grandbabies play with Barbies, it's really cool. We have Barbies that have dark hair. We have Barbies that have dark skin. We have Barbies that have full figures. Now, when I was a kid, all your Barbies looked the same. Blonde, blue-eyed, pale skin, skinny as a stick. That's it. No curves, no nothing. Every Barbie looked the same. And then I grew up in the 80s, so like when the Go-Go's came out, I cut my Barbie's hair to try to, make them look different, and that was like a cool thing. But I remember, we had Brooke Shields, but being little, I don't remember Brooke Shields a whole lot in my generation. I don't know, I think maybe she was a little bit ahead of my time. I just remember like Christy Brinkley and like, God, who are the other big ones? Oh, Lisa Hartman Black. Most of the people on like the soap operas were blonde, the posters were blonde, all the people in the commercials had blonde hair. And I remember, as a kid, I always felt like, am I ugly? Because, I'm tan and I have dark hair and I have brown eyes, and you don't see that on Barbies. I was very thankful when like J-Lo and Beyonce and all these people came out. They weren't fat, but they were realistically women, with curves. And we finally adopted that and accepted that. And let's be honest, there's even women buy pants because they have a built-in butt. I think that's a little much, but we've come a long, long way. But what's the message that we give our kids? You got to look a certain, the package has to look a certain way. And I guess if you look a certain way, or you talk a certain way, or you're what people think are, that's the it girl or what have you, and I'm not that person. I'm far from blonde, blue-eyed, skinny as a stick, look like a Barbie doll. So do I hate on the girl next to me at my job because she's got blonde hair, blue eyes, she's pale, looks like a Barbie doll? No. Why?
Some would.
But why?
Don't know.
That is the core message on what we are trying to do here. So I hope that you'll join us in these conversations and send us emails, give us comments, tell us what you think, because I really think as a society and as women, for our little girls, we might not be able to change the world, but maybe we can put a dent in it. And I feel like, jump on board. What do you want to talk about? Let's get to the core of the issue here and figure out how we can be better women, better mothers, better daughters, better sisters, better wives, better friends. I invite you to join us, and I hope that you will do that. This is just kind of an introductory of, get ready for some stuff that might be difficult to discuss, but the more honest we are, the better off we'll be. So thanks again for joining us. You guys have a great week.
Yep.
Anything you need to say?
No.
All right, well, thank you for joining Unapologetically Reborn. This is where survival ends and choices begin.